Good morning, and thank you for allowing me to talk to you this morning. I come before you as no speechwriter or great person of wisdom or oration or whatever, but what I want to talk to you about is getting involved civically, okay? Being a part of a community, and also to challenge you. I'm going to start this discussion with a quote which I believe is a great compass for all of us to follow. Ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. And those words were spoken 55 years ago by our 35th president, John F. Kennedy. And they've resonated, I believe, throughout that period to help the humanitarian causes throughout the world. In particular, the Peace Corps soon was started right after the inaugurational speech, although it had been in the works for years prior to that when he was a senator trying to get it through. But again, causes such as the Peace Corps, etc. So let's remove the word country and let's use the word community. Right here, for some of you, you first arrived at Salisbury, and this is your first taste of being a part of a community where you have to engage, you have to, in a sense, be involved, whether it be a sports team or a club, or if you are selected as a prefect, proctor, kind of the head of a dorm, or you have responsibilities within this community, and it all has to work as you engage with one another to hopefully build a much stronger community right here on the hilltop. So it becomes a pleasant place to live and a fun place to be. So we're going to move out of the Salisbury community, and now you're going to move into maybe where you grew up, whether it be a small community, a neighborhood, a borough, and whatnot. And back home and throughout the world, there's a very precious commodity that is very tough to encapsulate, and that is time. And what I mean by time is a person's ability to find time to help other people, to move away from your comfort zone possibly and engage in an activity or civic duty, whatever you may call it, to be a part of that community and to help in some way, whatever your talents are. Personally, I became involved in the community through sports. I have 6 children. They all got involved in sports, so for selfish reasons, I got involved in sports through coaching, being on various boards of youth activities and whatnot. Well, they're all older. They moved out of the house, except for one. So about 8 years ago, I'm in church, and our minister is looking for volunteers to paint a house on a Saturday. 4 hours of time. That's what he's asking for. On a Saturday. Geez, I'd rather play golf. I'd rather, I don't know, do something else. But, I know how to paint. I'll figure that out. Okay, sure. Raise my hand. I made that initial step. I got involved. And my perception of Habitat was that they were a organization that built homes for people that were disadvantaged, and that's kind of what they did. But that's really not what Habitat is. It actually is an organization that helps build a stronger community. And to give you a brief overview of Habitat, it was started in 1976 by the Fuller family down in Georgia. They actually started their work in Africa, what was then Zaire, now the Democratic Republic of the Congo. They built 120 homes in 3 years, so their focus was actually not in the United States. Habitat is an international organization. We all have the misconception that Jimmy Carter and Rosalind Carter started this organization because you kind of see them on posters or you'll see newsreels. Well, they didn't get involved until 1985. But our affiliate here is celebrating its 25th anniversary. We're on our 13th home. We're building a home presently in Sharon, Connecticut, for a family with 4 children. We've had a unique situation here in the northwest corner where land is a rare commodity. It's very valued, so for us to have opportunities to build a home in this area is very unique. But with that said, we are always on task, and we have a great group of individuals that are always contributing. And the individuals that we are helping out may be the individual down at the local restaurant that you and your folks go to, or the grocery store, they're stocking shelves. But they're an integral part of this community, and they need housing. But they may not be at an economic advantage to afford a traditional mortgage. And that's where Habitat comes in, through a process in which we interview families and select a family that we feel is a good fit for us and for the community. So it takes the community to be involved. Not just the labor to build the house, but also time, whether it be fundraising, whether it be picking up furniture for our Habitat store down the road, whether it be the local building supply people donating materials, and the list can go on. So this involvement of a large number of people from varying backgrounds to come together to reach one goal is what Habitat is about. Personally, I've been affiliated since that day of painting. I've been a board member for the past 7 years. I'm head of the fundraising committee. And the great thing about Habitat, I get great personal satisfaction of seeing a family move into a home that can't afford it. And also meeting other people that I may never have met before, even within the community that I live in. And those paths I cross and those discussions that I may have with those individuals may lead to other things that can help our community. So I first want to thank, number one, I know that there's been a group that came down with Mr. Bunce to help us at our This and That store, which sells used furniture, all sorts of used things, building supplies. It's a great place. So if you're decorating your room or teachers, you're looking for stuff for your apartment, great deals. Also, the Salisbury School has been a great supporter of Habitat They were gracious 3 summers ago to allow us to host a fundraising event down at the Boathouse, and they've always stepped up to the plate to help in our fundraising efforts, and we greatly appreciate that. I'm here to ask each one of you to get involved. I'm not asking you directly to get involved in our habitat if that's where you want, that direction you want to go, but get involved in your community, whether it be here at Salisbury School, whether it be back home during Christmas break at a soup kitchen, or helping out the local youth hockey team, or in the spring helping out the softball team, the baseball, whatever maybe your interests are, or maybe what interests that you think you have but haven't delved into them. But get involved, and that is the challenge. And of course, I'm going to put a plug in. Our local chapter is always looking for help, and if you are at all interested, please see Mr. Bunce, and I'm sure he'll eagerly get you on the bus on one of those Sunday mornings to help us. It may not be directly hammering nails. It may be working at the Habitat store, or maybe doing something at another site that involves maybe cleanup or whatever, but it is all for the good of Habitat. So in closing, I will say, ask not what your community can do for you, ask what you can do for your community. Thank you.